Did you know that a book wounds deeper than a sword? Do you know about these books? Those that were a declaration of rebellion against religious dictatorship and kings were banned or burned? We're going to mention something here. Epic of Gilgamesh, c. 2000 BCE. Throughout the ages, rulers, religious authorities, and governments have banned, burned, or censored books that challenge their authority. Here is a journey through history, not of kingdoms but of books and their authors, and why they were considered dangerous. If we look around at the ancient world, imagine the city of Alexandria, a beacon of knowledge for the known world. At its heart stood the great library, a wonder of its age. Scholars from across civilizations gathered there to study mathematics, astronomy, poetry, and philosophy. The library was a bold declaration that knowledge belonged to humanity. But this grand repository of wisdom was tragically fragile. Its destruction represents one of the greatest intellectual catastrophes in history. We can only guess at the marvels that were lost forever in the flames. A similar fate befell knowledge on the other side of the world. In the 3rd century BCE, the Chinese emperor Qin Shi Huang sought to unify his empire not just with walls of stone, but by controlling history itself. He saw the works of Confucius and other philosophers as a threat to his absolute authority. In an infamous event, he ordered the destruction of countless philosophical and historical texts, attempting to sever a culture from its intellectual roots. And yet, the ideas of Confucius did not die. They were preserved in secret, memorized by dedicated scholars, and hidden away until they could re-emerge. The emperor's fire could turn bamboo scrolls to ash, but it could not extinguish the deep human need for wisdom. As empires gave way to the dominance of great religions, the battle over books entered a new phase. In the 16th century, William Tyndale was driven by a revolutionary belief that everyone should be able to read the Bible in their own language. The church insisted that only the clergy could correctly interpret God's word. Tyndale's work was an act of profound defiance. He translated the New Testament into English, smuggling copies to be read in secret by ordinary people. For this, he was declared a heretic. Tyndale was eventually captured, strangled, and burned at the stake. But his forbidden book had already lit a fire in the hearts of the people, paving the way for the English Reformation. This fear of independent thought echoed across different faiths. In medieval Europe, Jewish texts like the Talmud were frequently condemned and burned. In parts of the Buddhist world, certain sutras that challenged orthodoxy were suppressed. The powerful understood that a book provides a private space for an individual to encounter an idea. It is in that quiet personal communion that doubt, inquiry, and true belief are forged, far from the control of any authority. As the world moved into the age of empires and revolutions, books became powerful weapons in the fight for freedom. In British-ruled India, leaders like Mahatma Gandhi used newspapers and books to articulate their vision for a free India. Gandhi's book, Hind Swaraj, was banned by the British in India. The colonial government deemed it seditious, fearing its message of self-reliance, spiritual strength, and passive resistance. Ideas that could not be defeated with guns. Banning the book only amplified its message. It was read in secret, its ideas debated and shared, fueling the long, patient struggle for independence. Across the globe, revolutionary texts faced similar fates. Karl Marx's The Communist Manifesto was banned in numerous countries. Rulers feared its call for the working class to overthrow the established order, yet, the more it was banned, the more its legend grew. The book became a symbol of rebellion, passed from hand to hand in secret meetings, its ideas shaping the course of history worldwide. The 20th century descended into a brutal clash of ideologies, and books were on the front lines. In Nazi Germany, on May 10, 1933, university students burned upwards of 25,000 volumes of books. They threw the works of Jewish, pacifist, liberal, and communist writers onto massive bonfires, including novels like All Quiet on the Western Front that dared to show the unglamorous horror of war. The Nazis burned books because they feared them. The book burnings were a public spectacle designed to intimidate and signal that there was no room for dissent, a horrific prelude to far greater horrors to come. In the Soviet Union, the state exercised a different but no less suffocating form of censorship. Writers who did not adhere to socialist realism were deemed enemies of the state. Alexander Solzhenitsyn's harrowing accounts of the Gulag exposed the brutal reality hidden behind state propaganda. His book, The Gulag Archipelago, had to be smuggled out to be published in the West. Solzhenitsyn was exiled, and his books were banned, but his words gave a voice to millions of victims and irrevocably damaged the moral standing of the Soviet Union. One might hope that in our modern world the age of book banning would be behind us. Yet the impulse to censor remains strong. Even Harry Potter has faced banning attempts, and in China, Winnie the Pooh was censored for internet memes mocking political leaders. The digital age has created new battlefields. The Great Firewall of China blocks access to information, and authoritarian regimes monitor and silence dissent with frightening efficiency. The most poignant example is Anne Frank's diary, a universal testament to the human spirit, yet still challenged in some places. To ban Anne Frank's diary is to attempt to sanitize history. We have journeyed through centuries of fear and suppression, but there is a powerful truth. The fire that consumes the page can never destroy the idea. The act of censorship is a confession of weakness. Ideas are weightless and invisible. They cross borders without passports and ignite revolutions without weapons. Every time we open a book, we participate in a conversation that spans all of human history. The written word has survived every tyrant and every fire, and it will survive still. For within every story lies a spark of the indomitable human spirit. And that is a force that can never, ever be extinguished.